So this week's trio is lilac fragrances. Now lilac is a note that kind of faded away for a bit, isn't it? I suppose it's very common in vintage notes, and then for some reason, I guess again it's one of them, probably associate our grandparents with, you know, kind of lilacs and such like, but it's starting to make a comeback, and it's a very beautiful note. It's like a greeny, sweet purple note, obviously, or even blue. And sometimes lilacs are pink, but they still smell quite purple, don't they? And it's kind of one of them when you're moving into the warmer months of spring, and it brings you quite a lot of joy. And again, I'm glad it's a note that's coming back more and more and more, because, yeah, the purple notes went out of fashion, didn't they? And they've come back, like I've just said. So I'll get on with this video anyway. So the indie one is Purple Rain from April Aromatics. Now, lilac isn't actually a listed note in this one, I don't think. It's one of the few purple flowers that's not listed, although I reckon it's in there. It's got hyacinth, wisteria, violet. Maybe lilac actually is listed, and it's basically all these beautiful spring purple flowers coming through. It smells like them first days of spring where you're walking through some woods, or you're walking through kind of meadows. Even the kind of little sweetness of bluebells, which are particularly sweet, are kind of in this. And obviously there's a lot more in there. There's a bit of citrus, there's kind of some greener notes, some woody notes. And all of this do kind of add to being, you know, the little elf walking through the forest, picking all these wildflowers to make your flower chains or little flower magic pots and stuff. And it's something about that, them purple smells are so calming and transportative to somewhere kind of very peaceful. Whether, like I say, sometimes purple's a bit melancholy to me, but it's also quite relaxing, and it can be quite like attractive. And I think this one, especially with the violet, giving it that more kind of sensual, attractive kind of sweetness, and the other lighter, greener things like lilacs and hyacinths, etc., give it the kind of green spring feel. It's a magnificent fragrance. Anyway, these are meant to be short, so I'm not waffling on. There is an overview of this and actually a review of this one somewhere. So that's Purple Rain from April Aromatics. Next up is the niche one, and come on, this is predictable. Very, very, very predictable. One of the best, if one of the few niche fragrances I've smelled with lilac is, of course, Amouage's Lilac Love. Now, obviously, lilac is kind of, you know, the main note, the hero note of this. And it does open up with that greeny, kind of fresh purple vibrance of the lilacs. And as the fragrance develops, that purple freshness gets more syrupy sweet in there, but still fresh and vibrant, and it kind of breaks up the other notes, because of course Lilac Love is kind of this woody, chocolatey, white chocolate to me, but some people get more of a, you know, a milk chocolate and that. But it's this kind of light, chocolatey, creamy one. There is sandalwood in it. It's not too creamy though. Don't get scared if you hate sandalwood like I do. And the violet merely kind of runs like a vein through it. It breaks it all up. It stops it being sickly and too much. It's just incredible. This fragrance also has an insane presence about it. So it's one you definitely don't need to spray a lot of. And it kind of suits any season, really. I wouldn't wear it on a very hot day, because every single car in the entire universe is going to go past you on a hot day and really get you quite irritated. So I wouldn't wear it on a hot day, because it can be too much. But on a warm day, it's kind of from winter into spring. It obviously works very well in the winter. For some reason, this might be personal to me, lilacs in the autumn, no, it's too fresh, it's too vibrant and what have you, isn't it? So I wouldn't wear this one in the autumn because I'm a weirdo. So that's Amouage's Lilac Love. And finally, designer, predictable, there are more and more of these coming through, but we're going to go with a dropped Issy from Issey Miyake. First of all, it was a present from a friend. Cheers, Lizzie. Also, it's just a simple, lovely lilac fragrance. It's quite watery, aquatic, not salty, watery, aquatic. There's also a kind of creaminess running through it. I can't remember what that's from. Is it fig, sandalwood, something like that? But it's mainly this kind of watery green violet that, again, as it develops, gets a bit kind of richer, not so sharp and fresh. And of course, there's another car. This road of death is obviously very busy when I'm walking down it. But yeah, and then it kind of goes a little bit lactonic, a little bit kind of almost soapy. I would suspect there's probably aldehydes or something like that in this. And another one. Yes. So it kind of has that soapy, like a creamy soapiness. And then obviously you dry down into the more woodiness. But all the time that sprinkle of the green lilac lies over it all. And it's just very fresh. There's also in this one an ambroxan. Now the ambroxan isn't a headachy one. You can smell it. It just adds that little bit of sharpness in it. But to be fair, that helps the fragrance. And obviously it just makes it, you know, what these molecules do. And it's quite a long lasting one. But it's never loud or obnoxious. And it's a lovely kind of fresh, to me, watery. More people get more of the creaminess and what have you about it. But it's just a lovely, easygoing fragrance. So that's a dropped Issy from Issey Miyake. So that was very brief, I would hope. It's definitely under 10 minutes, so yeah. But what about you? What's your favourite lilac fragrance? Are you a big lilac fan? Do you like these kind of bluey purples, the hyacinths, the lilacs, the wisterias? Bluebells haven't been recreated yet, but my God, come on, perfumers. Do you like these sort of fragrances? And what they always remind me of mainly is spring, summer. Because like I've moaned about loads of times here, spring here is winter up until about May. And that's when the flowers start to come through and stuff. And what happens is we go from the kind of frosty, even snow in May nowadays, to usually a mega heat wave. So the flowers just push, they just shoot up, and you've got a sea of colour everywhere. And they're really quite magically sweet and vibrant. So yeah, back to what I was saying. What's your favourite lilac scent? Do you associate lilacs with more vintage stuff, or you're starting to notice it and appreciate it more in modern fragrances? Right, folks, bye. Notice there's been no cars since I'm nearly finished this. Bye.